Putin not ruling out meeting with Zelenskyy but Kremlin ahead of US-Russia talks. The Kremlin said on Monday that Russian President Vladimir Putin had not ruled out a meeting with his Ukrainian counterpart, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, to discuss a ceasefire in the Ukraine conflict, now approaching its fourth year, but suitable preparations had not been made for such a visit. This came after US President Donald Trump, who has been increasingly frustrated with Russia's lack of willingness to end the war, confirmed that his special envoy Steve Witkoff will visit Russia next week, ahead of a looming US sanctions deadline. Ahead of talks between Witkoff and Putin, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said, Putin isn't ruling out meeting with Zelenskyy. However, this would require careful preparation, which has not been carried out yet. Peskov said the upcoming visit by Witkoff would be important and helpful. We are always happy to see Mr. Witkoff in Moscow. We consider such contact important, substantial, and helpful, he added. Nanan Putin has already met Witkoff multiple times in Moscow, before Trump's efforts to mend ties with the Kremlin came to a grinding halt as Russia refused to make concessions and agree to a ceasefire deal with Ukraine, despite months of US efforts. Trump had initially given Russia and Ukraine 50 days to resolve the conflict and come to an agreement, or he would hit Moscow with 100 tariffs. However, he later drastically reduced the deadline to 1,012 days after Moscow's reluctance. When reporters asked what Witkoff's message would be to Moscow, and if there was anything Russia could do to avoid the sanctions, Trump replied, get a deal where people stop getting killed. Trump has previously threatened that new measures could mean secondary tariffs targeting Russia's remaining trade partners, such as China and India. This would further stifle Russia, but would risk significant international disruption. Nanan Despite pressure from Washington, Russia has continued the conflict with Ukraine. Putin, who has consistently rejected calls for a ceasefire, said Friday that he wants peace but that his demands for ending his nearly 3.5-year invasion were unchanged. We need a lasting and stable peace on solid foundations that would satisfy both Russia and Ukraine, and would ensure the security of both countries, Putin told reporters. Russia has frequently called on Ukraine to cede control of 4 regions Moscow claims to have annexed, a demand Kyiv has called unacceptable. Swipe left for next video. Zelenskyy said Sunday that the two sides were preparing a prisoner exchange that would see 1,200 Ukrainian troops return home, following talks with Russia in Istanbul in July. With agency inputs latest blogs.